They were supposed to be here. They saw everything. On October 12, 2018, prosecutors believed they were ready. Their star witness, a 34-year-old accountant named David Chen, was scheduled to testify in a high-profile murder trial. He was the final voice, the crucial piece needed to put a ruthless killer behind bars for life. But when the courtroom doors opened and his name was called, the witness chair remained empty. There was no phone call, no text message, no explanation. David Chen had simply vanished. This isn't just another missing person case. This is a story about a catastrophic failure inside the very justice system designed to protect us, a failure that may have allowed a murderer to walk free. Welcome to Crime Chronicles. Let's rewind to the last day anyone saw David Chen. It was a crisp autumn morning. Surveillance footage shows him leaving his suburban home at exactly 7:15 a.m. His phone was fully charged. Keys, wallet, a briefcase filled with documents for the court, everything was in its place. He got into his silver sedan for what should have been a short, routine 30-minute drive to the downtown courthouse. His friends and family, when later questioned by police, said everything seemed completely normal. He'd seemed nervous, sure, but resolute. He knew what he had to do. There was no unusual panic in his voice, no final, cryptic goodbye. He was just a regular guy about to do an extraordinary thing. By 8 a.m., David should have arrived here at the courthouse steps. He never did. And from that moment forward, the trail goes completely, chillingly cold. His car never entered the courthouse parking garage. His phone stopped transmitting its location just a few blocks away. For all intents and purposes, David Chen had evaporated into thin air. To understand why David Chen's testimony was so critical, we have to go back to the original crime, 1 year earlier. It was a brutal, late-night robbery gone wrong at a downtown electronics store. The incident was violent, ruthlessly efficient, and investigators believed, entirely intentional. The store owner was killed. Security cameras were disabled just moments before the break-in, a professional job, but the criminals made one mistake. They didn't account for a late-night delivery driver pulling into the alley behind the store. That driver was David Chen. Investigators believed he was the only person who saw the critical moment, the face of the killer as he removed his mask, the specific action of disabling the alarm system, and the getaway vehicle's license plate. David's testimony was the linchpin. It could corroborate every piece of circumstantial evidence the prosecution had painstakingly assembled. And sitting in the courtroom that day, waiting, was the defendant, a man with a long and violent criminal history. A person with a clear motive to silence any witness. A person with, quite possibly, absolutely nothing left to lose. The stakes couldn't have been higher. So how does the most important witness in a major murder trial vanish just hours before he is set to testify? That's the question that haunted investigators and the victim's family for years. Initially, the police department insisted there were no formal threats made against David Chen on record. Because of this, he wasn't offered a protective detail. He wasn't placed in a safe house. He was treated like any other witness, expected to simply show up, a catastrophic miscalculation. Then, 3 days after his disappearance, something changes, a twist that deepens the mystery. David's cell phone, which had been silent, suddenly pings a cell tower over 50 miles away from his expected route in a remote, wooded area. Police rush to the location, but find nothing. Days later, his car is discovered abandoned in a long-term parking lot at the international airport. There are no signs of a struggle, no blood. The car is wiped clean, no fingerprints that lead anywhere. The only thing left behind was his briefcase, still sitting on the passenger seat. Was this a case of gross negligence by the justice system, or was this something more sinister? Was someone on the inside tipped off, providing the perfect window of opportunity for David to be intercepted? Did someone fail to act in time, or did they choose not to? With no witness to testify and no body ever found, the prosecution's case against the defendant collapses. After a few more days of legal maneuvering, the charges were dropped. The man David Chen was meant to put away walked out of the courthouse a free man. But the questions remain, echoing in the empty halls of justice. Theory 1. The witness protection theory. Some speculate that a federal agency, realizing the local police had failed, swooped in at the last minute and put David into the program. But if so, why was it done in such a chaotic way, sparking a massive missing person investigation? Why leave his family in the dark? Theory 2, a calculated silencing. This is the darkest theory, but perhaps the most plausible, that David was abducted and killed by professionals hired to ensure his testimony would never be heard. An operation that was clean, efficient, and final. And theory 3, fear simply took over, perhaps the pressure became too much. Maybe he received a threat that was never reported, and he chose to disappear on his own, leaving his old life behind forever. Today, the defendant lives freely, and David Chen, the man who saw everything, has never been seen or heard from again. So we have to ask you, what do you believe happened? Do you think he's still out there somewhere, living in hiding? Or was he silenced forever just before he could speak the truth? Let us know what you think in the comments, because sometimes the most important piece of evidence is the one that vanishes without a trace. Thanks for watching.